The police have been very clear about this, that it is a terrorist incident. They are not telling us what they think the motive may be. But the timing of this with the Remembrance Sunday services, it can't just be a coincidence, can it?
Well, you have to be open-minded as an investigator and look at all possibilities. And I think ACC Jackson, who's heading the investigation from the North West Counter-Terrorism Unit, is taking the right approach. It is important, actually, now to find this motive, to see what the cause is, because that then helps to direct the rest of the investigation. But as your reporter was saying there's so much work still to do. And this week, this first 7-day period will be vitally important. They're going to go through electronic devices, communications from the mobile phones to see who this fellow's been communicating with. What's he been posting on the internet? What are the evidence has he got? And of course, it sounds as though when you say significant material, the other address in Rutland, ascertain, because if you're making an improvised explosive device, a bomb, you need a degree of knowledge, you need a degree of experience, and it's very rare they work alone. And I think, obviously we can't say anything because the 4 suspects are suspects. But, we saw this with the Manchester Arena bombing with Salman Abedi. His brother has now been convicted. There were connections. But I think what's significant is we didn't go to level 4, the imminent threat, which we saw with Manchester. I'm drawing that analogy because an IED was used there. There they went to level 4 because the police feared from the information they had that there could still be more devices out there. Well, we still can't rule it out, but to go back to severe, to me, does make sense from substantial with the attacks we've had recently.
And it's worth, isn't it, David, maybe just reminding ourselves that it's not very long ago that a serving member of Parliament was stabbed to death, and we know, or we think we know, that the motivation's there. This was somebody who'd been severely radicalised, a radical Islamist terrorist. And it does feel, doesn't it? It does feel, in many ways, that this country is under threat, potentially of terrorism, in a way that it's not been for a very long time.
Yeah, I think the Islamist threat, I think, is still the main threat faced here in Britain, not the UK, because they don't target Northern Ireland. But yeah, that's still the main threat. But I sort of look at the 3 forms of extremism that we face in the UK as a whole. You've got the extreme far right. You look at who they target and don't forget this. About 30 attacks have been prevented since 2017. But these individuals from the extreme far right, they're targeting politicians. Jack Renshaw got convicted. He was targeting the MP Rosie Cooper, and of course we know about Thomas Mayer and Joe Cox. And then across the Irish Sea in Northern Ireland, they've been severe. They never went to substantial, mainly because the dissident Republican groups like the new IRA, Operation Arbacia, helped to weaken that, but they will come back again. There's other dissident Republican groups. So we face it on 3 fronts, Nigel. The Islamist, the extreme far right, and Ireland. But there's other forms of extremism are creeping in that can be causes of concern. Incel, this involuntary celibacy, this is another one that's cause of concern, and that was linked with looking at the attack in Plymouth.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I just feel, David, when the Prime Minister says we must remain vigilant, do you think, as an expert in this field, that in terms of what we do as a government, through our security services and our police forces, are we, in your opinion, being vigilant enough?
Well, we have some of the widest sweeping terror legislation, certainly within Western states, and Canada's not far behind. I look at the work done by both security services, the Secret Intelligence Service MI6 for abroad, and obviously Security Service MI5 here in the UK, and the work that counter-terrorism police officers do. Some might say I'm biased because I'm a retired officer, but I know the work they put in is absolutely incredible. Their aim is to prevent attacks from happening. The last thing you want to do in counter-terrorism is detect, because that means someone has either died or been seriously injured. So you do want to prevent it. They are putting a lot of work in. It is about being vigilant, and I accept that. I think we can all play a part, Nigel. Under Action Counters Terrorism is one initiative. Those who, when we use the train, I'm sure now some might suddenly twig to hear, see it, say it sorted.
Yeah.
It's us playing our little part to pass some information on.
Yeah.
But I think
I don't doubt that, David, and I thank you very much for coming on and joining us this evening.